This was the scene in Philadelphia less than 2 weeks ago. People running for their lives as a gunman opens fire on a crowd, shooting 14 and killing 3. This year, there have already been 227 murders in Philadelphia, nearly on pace for another record. That is the backdrop as President Biden travels to Philadelphia tomorrow, but he's not expected to address crime. Instead, he's speaking on union jobs. Joining me now live is Joe Sullivan. He is the city's former deputy police commissioner, and Rosalind Pichardo. She lost 2 loved ones to gun violence, including her twin sister. She's now an activist against violent crime in Philadelphia. Thank you both for joining us tonight. I want to start with you, Joe. What is your reaction to the president coming to talk about jobs and not crime?
First of all, I want to thank Rosalind for all she does for our city. It's disappointing. The president is here. His words have weight. His words mean things, and we need more federal resources in Philadelphia. We have a district attorney who does not think that prosecuting gun crimes is an effective way of combating gun violence, and that's just absolutely insane. So we need more help from the federal prosecutor. We need more federal investigators. We need more federal support in terms of forensics, so that we can take more of these cases federally. That sends a strong message. We know it's a very small number of people committing a large percentage of the violence, and that they're the cases that should be going to the federal government and being prosecuted in the federal system. We also have a crisis in this country, Philadelphia being one of those cities, New York City being another one, where we are losing police officers at an alarming rate. In the president's words, could really have an impact here, letting officers know that they are supported, and using the power of the federal government to help cities like Philadelphia have the resources to pay better, provide better benefits, and other incentives for officers to stay with their departments, like low interest mortgages, assistance with school loans. We are going to we're already in a very serious crisis, and it's going to get worse. And as one of your prior segments noted, the opioid crisis, it just continues to get worse. Overdoses are rising. Fentanyls are coming across the border. Remember, a backpack of fentanyl is enough to kill a majority of the people in a medium-sized city. We have to stop that. And then we have to commit to fixing a broken, underfunded mental health system. So cities like Philadelphia have the resources to get people in need to treatment before they end up being part of the criminal justice system or before they get involved in some horrific act. Here are some of the things I'd like to hear from the president.
Yeah, and to your point, Joe, I mean, the mayor even saying, Jim Kenney, people are afraid to let their kids out of their house. So before you do that, if you don't mind, we want to play a quick soundbite from Biden on gun violence. Here's what he had to say to the American voters.
Yes, keep marching. It's important. Look, this has to become an election issue. The way people listen, senators, congressmen, when people say, this is going to affect my vote. Too many people are dying needlessly.
So in about 30 seconds, Joe, what would you say his message needs to be to not only your department, but departments across the country?
It's not an election issue. It's a people issue. It's an issue for people like Ms. Pichardo. And that's how we need to be looking at it in a bipartisan fashion. I'm a lifelong public servant. The words that I have to President Biden would be the same words I would have to any president. Our city needs help, and we need help from the federal government, and we need it now. It has to be decisive, and it has to be quick. We have to send a message that this is over, that if you commit a crime with a gun, if you hurt or kill another human being, you will suffer the consequences, and they will be swift, and they will be certain.
That's wonderful, and heard. Thank you, Joe. And Ms. Pichardo, we know that your family has been through so much. You now supporting victims of gun violence. Do you feel safe in your city? And if so, why or why not?
I mean, no, I don't feel safe in my city. I mean, I'm an activist and advocate who daily fear for my life because the city has become this chaotic city full of gun violence, and people are losing their lives left and right. I mean, as an outreach worker as well, having to reverse so many overdoses and see so many shootings and mourning the loss of so many lives in the city of Philadelphia, it's frightening, but, we have to look at it from a different perspective. I mean, the president is coming here to talk about some issues that are not so important than young ones losing their lives to gun violence. I mean, it's massive. You know, we just have a mass shooting in South Philly, and people lost their lives. And I think the focus shouldn't be on what he's coming here for. I think the focus needs to be on the lives lost, and how can we repair that, and how can we have common sense gun laws in this country. I mean, something needs to change, because what's happening now is clearly not working, and we're losing our kids.
Well, that is heard as well. And, you know, this, of course, is a very sensitive issue across the country, especially with the rash of shootings that have happened. You've gone so far, Rosalind, to pass out tourniquets in your city, which I think is very, very powerful as well. You're taking a hands-on approach. What do you want to hear from President Biden on this issue of crime?
I want him to bring solutions. I want him to sit with the families and see what they're going through and come up with solutions. I mean, we need jobs in Philly. We need so much. We need resources. There's not enough victim services resources. It's enough death in the city that we need resources. We need more victim services. We need organizations to be boots on the ground to prevent this stuff. And we don't have the funds or the resources to do so.
Ms. Pichardo, thank you so much. You support victims of gun violence. Joe Sullivan, the city's former deputy police commissioner. Thank you both for joining us on this topic tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.